Hello and welcome to the September update from the Tau team. You're here with me, Fola. Without further ado, let's get into your Q&A questions. All right, and the first question is from Ming, and they ask, they've got two questions actually. The first question is, how does Tau deal with Gödel's incompleteness? That for sufficiently complex systems, there will always be statements that cannot be proven or disproven within the system. Even if a question could theoretically be answered by the system, the computational resources required might be prohibited.
Yeah, so indeed, as you said, for sufficiently complex systems and to find a system that is complex enough, let's call it impressive amount of complexity, but does not step into Gödel incompleteness, or in other words, is decidable, well, that's exactly the whole art. That's the main thing to do, and that's what we do, and we did. So the complexity of the Tau language is indeed, in the worst case, is prohibitive, is double exponential time. Well, we don't know for sure. We only know that it is between double exponential and triple exponential. But there are 2 points to bear in mind here, that experience in the whole field of logical solvers, that real-life problems happen to be easy to solve, relatively easy to solve. And random problems are the hard problems. There is no theoretical explanation for that. People say that real-life problems typically come with a structure, and therefore the solvers can use the structure to handle them easily. No one knows why it works, but it is an empirical fact for over 20 years that it works. The second point is that that's exactly why we invest so much in finding good algorithms. And a good algorithm means that in many easy cases, it will return answer fast. So we have a good algorithm for the Tau language. We have it long ago. And now we indeed look for a good algorithm for the two-variable fragment with counting.
All right, fantastic. And Ming's second question is, how does Tau deal with vagueness and ambiguity? Natural language in real-world situations often involve vague or ambiguous terms that are difficult to formalize in a logical system. And if formalized by force, give rise to plenty of conclusions that are incorrect in the real world.
Okay, that's easy. Tau does not deal with vagueness and ambiguity. You will need to write precisely in formal language what you mean.
All right, and the next question is from Benz, and they ask, what is the status of Lucca's work on monadic second-order logic over infinite binary trees? Is he and Juan still working in the team?
So regarding MSO, monadic second order, it was never a decision to implement the full decision procedure for MSO. But in the original paper by Rabin that proves the decidability of MSO over infinite trees, there is also a treatment of the decidability of enhancements of the theory of Boolean algebra. And that's what Lucca studied and explained to the team. So we get more feeling about how those specific extensions of the theory of Boolean algebra work. If and when we decide to implement a decision procedure for monadic second order, we already have in the team one of the greatest people in this world, which is Professor Pavel Paris. He is one of the top experts in this very field.
So Lucca did some great work on MSO and on the proof of execution algorithms, but he's had to interrupt his work with us so he can continue his academic work in pursuit of his master's degree. But hopefully after he's done with that, we'll try to hire him back. As far as Juan is working with us only on a contractual basis.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Karim and Ahad. And the next question is from Sir Andrew, and he asks, he says, hi, Ahad. The Tau user's worldview would be empty if he forces his own contradicting opinions over the Tau network. So unless he fixes his own contradicting opinions, that may lead to undecidability. Tau will not be able to reason out his worldview, and therefore his Tau client remains empty of his worldview. But if he decides to fix his contradicting opinions, which Tau detects and points out, then he can have his worldview present on the Tau network. And this applies to all Tau users on the network. As a result, all users' Tau client's worldview will remain logically correct and decidable. Could you comment on this? Thank you.
Yeah, so for one thing, that's all correct, except the use of the term undecidability here. That's not what undecidability means. And for contradicting opinions in the worldview, Well, in practice, it's much simpler than that. In practice, when you come to publish a new opinion and this opinion is contradictory, the system will tell you. The system will not let you publish it until you fix the contradiction. Either you change the way the current opinion is written, or you go to previous opinions and change them. So the system will not let you to just have an empty worldview unless you really want. It will tell you right in place what you have to do.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Ahad. And the next question is again from Sir Andrew, and he asks, how would you know if you have completely tested the Tau test network and see if it can function as envisioned and is ready for Tau Mainnet? For example, will you employ like a hacker to attack or something alike? Will the testing be open to the public?
Yeah, well, as usual, there is no one answer for that. We will need to feel confident, and yes, we will use best ways we can use to test the network, and we'll open it to the community for the community to test it until everyone feels confident in the network, and then we will call it a release.
All right. And the next question is from Peter Pandessel, and they ask, once testnet is done, will we go back from zero when mainnet starts? Could you give us a rough approximation how long is the testnet before we reach mainnet?
Yes, so the question is, how long will it take to transition from testnet to mainnet? Well, that depends on the maturity of testnet when it first releases. But as we said in the previous question, security is paramount and will take however long it takes to build confidence in the testnet that it's robust and free of any vulnerabilities. So we don't know exactly how long it will take, but yeah, our priority has always been the quality of the software and the confidence that we can build in it.
All right, fantastic. Thanks so much. The next question is from Dana, and they ask, will the Tau language with two variable fragments support the use of deontic logic for cybersecurity purposes? How robust is the Tau language, and what logics will be supported precisely?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, there is no one deontic logic here. There are many versions of it, and I assume that it will support certain fragments of it, for which languages the Tau language can support. Virtually any language, so to take a language and make it suitable for the Tau language to work with, can usually be done with a very simple technical trick. But this is not only a good thing to say, that's also a limitation. So for one thing, the Tau language will be decidable over that language, if and only if that original language is decidable. So we can extend undecidable languages, but we will not get a decidable language. And for second thing, yes, you can use other languages in the Tau language, but the connection between the base language layer and the Tau layer is limited. Because if it is not limited, then you get into Tarski's undefinability of truth and things like this. So because it is very restricted, although still very impressive, we get this power of extending virtually any language. Sometimes simple technical trick is necessary, but basically anything. Because of this limitation that I mentioned before, that the connection between the Tau language and the language it extends is restricted to very certain operations, our work on two-variable logic is not only to have a solver for two-variable logic so that it can be a language extended by Tau, but also to support the two-variable fragment not as a base language level, but directly in the Tau level. And then the transfer of information between things said in the Tau language and things said in the two-variable fragment will be 100%. Now, I'm not sure to which extent we will achieve this goal. We already achieved it partially, and it is left to be seen.
All right, thank you very much, Ahad. Always detailed with the answers. Dana has another question for us, and he asks, in last month's Q&A, revenue sharing was mentioned for the Agoras token. Instead, couldn't the community create an agent which buys and burns Agoras based on fee volume? This would fund the agent fees and also promote token deflation.
Yeah, I don't remember what we mentioned revenue sharing about, but maybe we said that it is basically illegal. Yes, the securities law basically forbids such a thing. Whether the community will do revenue sharing with itself, like in the fashion you described, well, it's up to the users, and that's indeed the whole point of Tau, that the users can decide whatever they like.
All right, brilliant. And the next question is from Brother, and they ask, well, it's a quote actually. They say, there are so many problems you can express very easily in second order logic, but the problem is not to express them, but to solve them. What is the current status of the second order logic solver for TML? Thank you.
The algorithm for second order logic was realized long ago as a byproduct of algorithm for the Tau language. So it subsumes the second order logic for TML. But also, since we now have the Tau language, then the focus shifted greatly from TML to the Tau language. So we will not add major features to TML, but what we can do, and what we will do, is that TML will become a very thin code that all it does is to translate a TML program to something that can be solved in an engine of the Tau language. And such translation tools we already have working very well, which is the parser and the rewrite system. So yes, it is solved long ago, and we will do it all in the Tau language.
And the next question is from Sir Andrew, and he says, what format should we follow on controlled natural language to input our sentences in the scaling discussion? Is it subject, verb, object? And would the users have to declare the sentence construction, telling Tau that the sentence user made is subject, verb, object? Please guide us through. Many thanks.
Well, we don't know yet how the controlled natural language for the Tau language will look like, but we do know that there is a paper by Jan Prata-Harman about controlled natural language for the two verbal fragment. Maybe I will recall the name of the paper soon, or maybe someone else here remembers the name of the paper. An English fragment with two variables, something like this. A fragment of English with two variables, maybe something like this. Anyway, it is much more complex than subject, verb, object, and I mean complex in a good way. You are much more flexible, and it is only for the two variable fragment without counting. So we will need to extend it to support counting and to support the Tau extensions. So this paper can give a taste of how quote unquote serious controlled natural language is going to look like.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much for that question, Sir Andrew. I'm going to put the link to the paper in the description, so you'll be able to click on that. The paper is called A Two-Variable Fragment of English by Ian Pratt-Harman, and that will be in the description. Cheers. And the next question is by Solid Taoist. Hi, Ahad. What keeps you going on doing Tau? How do you endure and manage to stay strong working on the project? Maybe the community may get some inspiration and motivation from your reasons. Thank you.
Well, the topmost thing is because I promised, and I have to stand behind my promise. Secondary reasons is that, well, it is the most interesting project in the world. Yes, that's the dream of all computer geek, to program the AI that will take over the world. Yeah, so that's very interesting, very groundbreaking, world-changing. Yeah, all those are reasons.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Ahad. And the next question is from Justin, and they ask, too much systematic lies. A fact checker is desperately needed, urgent. When can we see a Tau demo?
I think we will have a demo of the Tau language before the end of the year, in the next quarter.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, David. And the last question of the month is by Thomas, and they ask, hi, I prepared a couple of questions, and they've got three. The first question is, how do you envision TauNet changing the landscape of software development in the next 5 years? And how does Does software as sentences approach fundamentally change the game for software developers and non-developers alike? And the third question is, for someone new to the concept, how does TauNet make the onboarding process seamless and ensure they immediately grasp the platform's unique value?
Yeah, so for the onboarding process, it has the usual methods of marketing, explanations, and so on, which I'm not an expert at, but our business team is expert at. But we will do it like virtually anyone else manages to do it. Software development using Tau. Well, currently software development is in the Stone Age. You have to tell the computer what to do at each step, the whole flow. It's just insane. Why can't you just give a description like a software requirement that we give in natural language? So maybe not in natural language, but those requirements, they are not written in the sense of what exactly to do at each step. There are more global statements and both positive and negative statements that say the what instead of the how. So that's indeed the whole point. You need to only say the what, and you don't need to say the how, because it will be calculated automatically.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much, Ahad, and the rest of the team. And thank you to you for tuning in and giving us your Q&A questions. Please continue to send them in, and we'll see you on Telegram. Cheers.